I'd like to pose an interesting question. Are all human beings truly equal? These days, everywhere you go, there's talk about the fight for equality. As a wise man once said, heaven does not create one person above or below another. People like to throw his words around. But that's not the whole quote. He goes on to say that while we are all equal at birth, pretty soon things begin to change. Academic effort is what sets some people apart to rise above the others. At any rate, humans change over time based on their actions. Truth be told, at the end of the day, equality is just a fantasy. And most of us go through life denying the fact that we live in a meritocracy.
You know, we live in a world that moves too fast. A world where bad news spreads faster than light. A world where suffering is everywhere, sometimes silent, sometimes loud. And yet, in the middle of all that, there's a question most people don't even dare to ask anymore. How can you be happy in a sad world? The truth is, we often confuse happiness with a perfect environment. We think that to be happy, the world needs to change, people need to change, society needs to be kinder. We wait for life to fix itself before we finally allow ourselves to breathe, as if happiness were a luxury reserved only for those who live in perfect conditions. But that's not true. And honestly, the reality is the opposite. Being happy in a sad world doesn't mean denying sadness. It doesn't mean closing your eyes, running away, or pretending to be strong. No, being happy in a sad world is an act of rebellion. It's a way of saying, I refuse to let darkness define who I am. Happiness is not the absence of pain. Happiness is the ability to stay alive, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even when pain exists. Psychologically, we know humans cannot control external events, but we do control what we choose to feed inside ourselves. You can watch the same news as everyone else, face the same obstacles, go through the same storms. But if you learn to choose what you let grow inside you, your mind becomes a sanctuary instead of a battlefield. The problem is, we often nourish what destroys us. We compare ourselves, we judge ourselves, we punish ourselves, and then we wonder why we can't feel at peace. But we forget something essential. Happiness is not something you find. It's something you build, slowly, quietly, internally. Being happy in a sad world begins with a choice. The choice to protect your mind. The choice to pay attention to what uplifts you. The choice to let go of what drains you. The choice to surround yourself with meaning. The choice to create light, even if it's just a small spark in the dark. Philosophically, the great thinkers already understood this. The world has never been simple. Every era had its chaos, its fears, its injustices. But the wise ones found peace inside themselves, not outside. They didn't try to change the world before changing who they were. They understood that the greatest power a human can have is not strength, not wealth, not control, but self-mastery. Being happy in a sad world means recognizing beauty without ignoring pain. It means knowing that darkness exists, but choosing to give more value to the light. It means accepting that life will never be perfect, but it can still be deeply meaningful. The truth is, you don't need a perfect world to feel well. You need a solid inner world. You need a heart that still knows how to love, even after it's been hurt. You need a mind that still knows how to dream, even after seeing shadows. You need a soul that refuses to be extinguished. And here's the surprising part. Happiness isn't fragile. It doesn't disappear the second life becomes difficult. In fact, it becomes even more powerful in difficult times. Being happy in a sad world is not naive, is not insensitive, is not unrealistic. It is courageous. It takes courage to stay human in a world that hardens people. It takes courage to keep hope in a world that doubts everything. It takes courage to stay kind in a world that breaks hearts. It takes courage to believe in light, especially when everything feels like darkness. So yes, the world can be sad, sometimes very sad, but you can choose to be different. You can choose to be the proof that beauty can exist even in chaos. You can choose to become your own sun, and you can choose to move forward, not because everything is perfect, but because you choose to stay alive. And that is already a kind of happiness.